Mono Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Shalom. Good day, good people, and welcome to another very quick vlog here on the BDL show. I had something interesting pop up on my news timeline, and that is the new quarterly results, rather. Wait, I should probably rephrase that. It's basically the new quarter's declarations by political parties as to where they got their funding from and really who donated to them. Some very interesting sources of funding for some political parties, including those who, at an ideological level, they would have told us that they would never receive or take funding, rather, from a particular grouping. I'm talking, of course, about the Economic Freedom, I know it's an Economic Freedom Front, but the Economic Freedom Fighters. You know, here's a party that talks a lot about it standing in opposition to so-called white monopoly capital, or alternatively, in its policy outlook, you know, they're the sort of people who call for the nationalization of mines and industry. But here they are, quite literally taking cash from the so-called WMC. We're going to look at that little hypocrisy and a few others, if anything, in a moment. I have a special guest waiting in the background. Quick vlog as always. And with that being said, a reminder, hit that like button. Wherever you're watching this, hit that like button and please share this particular vlog. With that being said, let me bring my guest on who will help me unpack a lot of the hypocrisy, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this. Marius Rudd. Good day, sir.
How's it going?
Good to see you, my brother. Very good to see you. I've been having a laugh a minute as I look at these particular examples, or rather declarations is the word, of who's funding who. Marius, I'm going to put it up on screen. I know you'll have it on your side. Talk to me. What are we seeing here? This is the first page.
Well, this is just a declaration of who's donated money to various political parties in the final quarter of last year, so between October and December. The ANC declared the most. They had nearly 23 million rand that was given to them. The DA was second with 12.5 million rand. But I think the interesting things here is that the ANC got 15 million rand, which is the most you can give in one go, from Bato, which is an organization which also owns some of Tebe, which also owns some of Shell. So that's pretty interesting, looking at what's been happening on the Wild Coast and so on with the Shell exploration there, whatever you think about it.
That's right.
I'm not as opposed to it as some other people maybe, but I think it is very telling that this organization donated so much to the ANC. Also, what's interesting is that Harmony Gold and African Rainbow Minerals each gave money to 5 political parties. The ANC, the DA, the EFF, the IFP, and the Freedom Front Plus all got money from Harmony Gold and African Rainbow Minerals, which are also linked. As I understand it, ARM owns about 20% of Harmony Gold, so that was also quite interesting. I've also seen some people on social media making a big deal about the fact that the Naspers gave 1 million rand to the ANC in the final quarter of last year, and Discovery also gave 150,000 rand to the ANC. But I think we should also remember that in the third quarter of last year, Naspers also gave 1 million rand to the DA and also gave 150,000 rand to Discovery. And so I think it's, I don't think we should say that these parties are, these companies are, trying to look for favors, that they might be, but they also seem to be quite fair about how they're donating their money. But also mustn't forget that 1 million rand for Naspers and 150,000 rand for Discovery is, pretty much pocket change. So it's not loads of money. And then just 2 other interesting things that I'd like to flag is that Nikki Oppenheimer gave 500,000 rand for DA. Then Jody Scheckter, who is the only South African to have ever won a Formula One World Championship. He did it in 1979, if I recall correctly. I think he's based in the UK now. He gave 200,000 rand to the DA. And then there's another organization which is pretty interesting, and I think it's worth flagging out too. An organization called 360 Health Solutions. I've never heard of them before, but they are a black-owned company. They seem to be basically a type of medical aid thing. They're apparently founded by Tato Motlana, who was, one of the, first, who was quite a prominent black entrepreneur during the apartheid years, and then also in the early 90s. He was quite involved with, entrepreneurship, and was quite well known in that kind of field. But these guys have given money to GOOD, the Patriotic Alliance, the African Transformation Movement, as well as the EFF. And let me just confirm. I think they also gave money to the ANC, and they also gave money to the ANC. They gave nearly R1 million to the ANC. So they gave money to all the parties that are either implicitly or explicitly opposed to the free market, which is also quite interesting for me. So, yeah, I think this new thing that we have, where parties have to declare who's giving them money over a certain amount, it's all very interesting. And I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially, I mean, as I say, the Bato thing is very interesting for me. And also just, interesting to see who's getting money. And as you said, I mean, the EFF claims to be against white monopoly capital and so on. But they took money from 2 mining companies as well as SA breweries. So, they obviously don't mind if, they don't mind about the color of money, as long as it's green. The mark is black or white.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's the one time color doesn't matter. It's like, we'll talk as much nonsense as possible, but if you give me them Randellas, man, we'll take it. That's the funny hypocrisy that we're often dealing with here, which makes, as a final thought from my side, if anything, it does make one question, though, as to how seriously they take their own party policy stances in the grand scheme of things. In other words, are they willing to give up certain fundamental pillars, as they call it, of their? Are they willing to give up those fundamental principles as long as you're willing to pay a certain amount of rands to that? So I think the broader question there also becomes, influence in not just the EFF, but all of these parties. What sort of influence do these mega rands have on political parties? And are you, the ordinary member of the party, a bigger voice than someone who has a bigger checkbook than you? Those are sort of questions I think South Africans need to ask themselves as they watch this. Marius, thank you very much. Marius, of course, you can find at the Daily Friend. He's a daily contributor there, and also the is it the editor, Marius, or deputy editor?
Deputy editor, yeah.
Deputy editor of the Daily Friend. That's www.dailyfriend.co.za. Marius, muchas gracias to you, and of course, big thanks to you, dear viewer. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you like the content that you just watched, make sure you support the show. You can find that details in the descriptor of this video. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you tonight on the Big Daddy Liberty Show as we look at that Rosettenville CIT gangster shootout with the police. That's tonight at 7:30 only on the Big Daddy Liberty Show. That being said, thank you very much. And remember, never trust a commie.